Tom Brady gets career win number 200. A Patriot gets a new contract. And Jeff Fisher can't name a Patriot running back. All this and more on this week's edition of Patriots Wrap 360.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ram it. Ram it.
So good. What happened to this era?
Oh, yes.
Teams aren't bringing it like this anymore.
You know, you can screw all your Bikram yoga. You know, just give me some jazzercise.
Come out.
You know? Woohoo!
I mean,
And your Pilates.
the camaraderie of this era.
Oh, this is the 80s, baby. Back when football was first in LA and then it left. Now it's back, and they're coming to Foxborough.
Big Bad Jackie.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, man.
Big Bad Jackie, and I'm starting this off.
Oh, Big Bag Jackie, better known
he
as
is.
Matthew Slater's dad in
Oh, man.
Patriot world.
So good. So good. I can't get enough.
Oh, can't get
You
enough.
think Bill could find like a little time in the schedule? Maybe he's like, "Hey guys, we're gonna dedicate a good one full day, no practice. We're gonna shoot ourselves a little rap video."
Never will it happen. That's why it's, you know, I feel so safe making fun of other teams for doing so.
Pretty true.
You know?
Certain targets are easier than others.
It's true. It's true. Gang, thanks for tuning in with us. You know, we're here for our midweek rudderless discussion on all things Patriots. Patriots Wrap 360. With me here, per usual, is Denny Harris. Denny, you want to say who you are and how to get in touch with you?
Sure thing, Mike.
All right.
Danny Harris, as you just said.
Oh.
You can find me on Twitter at Deehaas, Deehaas.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
And I probably still have the # Mike Conley down here,
yeah,
but I'm
that's-
still not on social media. But if you are hitting up Mike Conley on social media, tell him well wishes and get well soon, because the Memphis Grizzlies' Mike Conley is out 6 to 8 weeks with a back injury. And it's like he was having an all-star caliber season. I mean, all-star, of course, but MVP caliber. I mean,
Mike
and-
Conley watched.
Oh, yeah. Mike
Conley watch.
He's so good. He's so good. And, you know, I really didn't think he was going to be much of a player when he came into the league. But,
Really? Just based on the name, or?
well, I mean, it just seemed like he was a guy that kind of rode on... yeah, that was like a joke grenade there, just based on the name. Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like he was riding on Greg Oden's coattails, but then, like, he was the 5th overall pick.
Yeah.
And it's like
How'd
he's
that work out
actually,
with Oden, by the way?
It was really good. That
Man.
went really good. I think they the Sonics were fine that they got Kevin Durant. Oh, and
Yikes.
then they lost their team.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, for another sport, another
neither here nor
program
there on
entirely.
Patriots Wrap.
Patriots Wrap 360, baby. If you want to join the rudderless discussion, you know, there's a couple ways to do it. You can hit up D-Haas on his Twitter, on the D-Haas.
Yes.
You can go to the YouTube page if you're following all around with us live here, and hit us up on that chat room in there, and give us some questions. You know, the Pats are going to be celebrating the 2001 team this week in Foxborough, which you got to love. I mean, that's got to be every Patriots fan's favorite team, because, I mean,
No question.
they hoisted the first Lombardi for the Pats. And, you know, so, you know, maybe this week, give me your favorite, you know, memory from the 01 season. So hit us up with that in the YouTube comments section, what you like about that. We appreciate that. And, you know, Denny and I will think on it, too, and we'll come back with that next week.
Sounds good.
It was good to see old...
I almost just dove right into it because
you-
I got so excited.
Feel free. I mean,
I got
you don't
so
have
excited.
to pinch me twice to talk
No, it's-
01 Patriots.
Well, I was just listening to some Drew Bledsoe.
Some Drew
in town,
Bledsoe
and
presser?
It's just,
It's good.
yeah, it's nice. It's nice. You know, old double sticks, Drew Bledsoe,
Yeah.
class act through and through. He
We even
handled
got
it.
that. Tommy even had a few beers back then.
I guess. Yeah,
know?
he admitted to that. So, yeah, you gotta love him. I feel like he handled it with class then. He still handles it with class. Nice to see him come back in town and get that, you know, get a little bit of the love he deserves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Storybook ending for him in New England. I felt like, you know, it went as well as it could that season that he got to come back in. You know, definitely a parallel right now what's happening in Dallas.
Right.
You got the young stud coming in, guns blazing, the team's rolling along, and hey, Mr. Romo, you may be out of a job. Definitely, you can see that, you know,
Yeah.
connection there.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And speaking of people getting what they deserve, the Jets took a loss this past Sunday.
I didn't know if you were
Segways
going.
are us.
They got a beat.
To the at the hands of our beloved New England Patriots
Yes,
that
sir.
we were thankful for last week. Enunciating thankfulness. But I mean, it's always tough going down there. You know,
is,
I mean,
it
last
is.
6 meetings decided by 7 or less points. You know, so you knew it was going to be a tight one.
Oh yeah,
You know,
always a dogfight down there. I mean, you know, those division teams, though we may roll over them quite frequently, it doesn't mean that it's
always
always
tight.
easy. It doesn't
Right.
mean that it's always easy. But a W's a W. I feel like that was a real character win. A win on the road, played most of the game from behind.
Yep.
Great win for the team.
Coming off kind of like a shortish week.
Definitely.
That Bill alluded to in his pressers and
Multiple
stuff, you know,
times.
because of the West Coast trip coming back.
And the Turkey Day.
Plus, yeah, the Turkey Day, it just makes it a little odd. So when you can come through that and then have your team win, especially a division game on the road, it's huge. And so obviously they got another victory Monday. But it was like, it's the usual, thing with this team. It's like, whoa, they're like kind of playing down their competition a little bit in that first half.
Yeah.
It's a 10-10 tie game at the half. Pats up 13-10. So you never really got a chance to relax this game.
Not at all. And I think with Brady coming to it dinged up to whatever extent he was, which is still kind of a question right now with him missing practice today, and then you have Gronk, obviously part of the game plan, and then we'll see how that plays out moving forward. But you lose him, I think he played a total of like 7 snaps in the game, so that's a big blow to the team, especially if that's what you game plan for.
Right.
And plus, I mean, Brady missing all the week of practice, that does have some weight, you know, as far as, especially, you know, Malcolm Mitchell emerging as a go-to guy. Some of these guys, you know, he doesn't have all the snaps and the reps, even Deion Lewis getting factored back in. You know, he's a year removed from
Factor back.
X Factor. But, you know, he doesn't have all those reps in practice, so the timing and all that may not be fully dialed in, and he's got some gimpiness going on in the legs.
Yeah.
That stuff adds up to, you know.
Do we fault
Tight
that?
game.
Do we fault that rustiness and lack of practice time for TB taking a first quarter timeout on the first drive, first series that allowed the Jets to challenge that play? I mean, it's like you could tell from the naked eye on television that he was short.
Right.
So I can imagine it was grossly short on the field looking as well. So it's like you got to get up and snap that puppy, Tommy.
You got to.
You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, there was definitely some rust. It was not the prettiest first half, that is for sure. But I think definitely a big, you know, especially coming off the last few weeks with questions surrounding the team with the, you know, obviously the big deal with Collins, and then Sheard, the question marks there, and now we're starting to worry a little bit, you know, nitpicking, of course, when your team's sitting pretty at 8-2 before coming into the game, you know.
Right.
First world problems, but you start wondering, are there chemistry issues that we should be worried about, you know?
I wonder how much of those are actually stuff that's there or stuff that Bill's just really nitpicking about and
Right.
tinkering, because it's all about, you know, kind of convincing that team that they're not that good, even though they keep piling up wins.
Yeah, maybe they just need
and
a
it's
little-
like, we need to get better. We need to keep getting
Right.
better every day. This is ways we can get better. And so, I mean, playing a 3-10 team, you
Right.
know, to, you know, a near stalemate for most of the game, that's probably enough coaching tape right there.
I
for
think
Bill.
so. I mean, they definitely have the evidence that they need to improve. All they got to do is watch last week's game. So
So
question.
200 career wins for the GOAT. That ties him with Manning for the most all time. Per usual, he just kind of glossed over it in the post game, and it was because of you guys, and the presser, you know. But what's he gonna do? You know, he's a man
GOAT.
with much humility, and that's what makes him, you know, the great one.
2 guys from that 01 team still in the league.
Tom Brady,
Tom
wow.
Terrific. The other one's pretty
Oh,
obvious.
yeah,
when you think of
Vinatieri,
Vinatieri. One's a kicker, and one is maybe the greatest quarterback of all time.
It's true. Who gets hit more, quarterbacks or
think-
kickers nowadays?
I think it's the quarterback. You know,
Drew kind of mentioned it in his little presser there. It's like, well, he doesn't get hit now. He can play it whenever.
I mean, did he watch last week's game? Because the kid's still
Yeah.
getting peeled off the turf.
He is.
But yeah, I mean, Drew definitely has a bone to pick when it comes to the hits back then that they were taking, the type that might cause internal bleeding and end your career in New England.
Yeah.
Versus, along
Thank
the
you, Mo
sidelines.
Lewis. Oh, 5'7".
But, yeah, I mean, the game's changed, but
yeah,
the Pats have evolved with it. I'm not mad about that.
I like it. I like it. So you mentioned it earlier, and it wouldn't be another week following this club if old Rob Gronkowski wasn't dealing with an ailment. At first, you're excited that it's not the perforated, punctured, bruised lung or whatever he was dealing with coming into the game. But then you find out it's the back, and sirens go off because that was not only a problem with him in the pros, but even dating back. He missed a whole year in college at Arizona with that back. So,
yeah, I mean, as I can attest to, with that rickety old back, the back issues are definitely kind of something you just manage over time. But
lucky you're not second on the depth chart.
Pretty key. No, but anybody that's dealt with back problems knows that's some stuff you just have to. You kind of gotta. You can't force anything with the back. So that said, I mean, judging by the on the field stuff, it didn't look. I mean, he walked on his own. Back to the locker room. Yeah. The red flag for me is that I guess he canceled. I don't know if you heard about that. He canceled some of the off the field stuff this week, as well as missing practice, like maybe a children's hospital benefit.
Interesting.
So that's kind of a red flag if he's not feeling mobile enough, or because on one hand you think, all right, let's the kid gloves, which we've talked about with this guy, and especially if it is anything, even if it's a minor tweak, hey, let's not force it. We got we got plenty of depth there as far as at least having a one tight end attack. We have one of the best tight ends. To fill in. So,
I mean, does it make you a little bit, remiss that the Pats jettisoned a couple tight ends earlier this season with AJ Derby and Clay Harbor, right?
I mean, don't sleep on Lengel.
Lengel, baby, he's got the stats for it. We'll see.
I try not. I mean, it's tough to question the results. So. It's that said, I mean, it's constant head scratching scenarios when it comes to roster management, and now's, I guess, as good a time as ever to segue into the Cannon deal, which I think caught a lot of Pats fans off guard.
It's segues. We don't need no stinking segues.
You know what I mean? It's
love
just of all the guys on the list that guys to nail down on the squad, I don't know that any of us thought he would be the first chip to fall, I guess.
It's crazy. I mean, it's not. We don't really look at the offensive linemen and kind of analyze their, I mean, I do, of course, but being a former lineman. But,
yes.
I mean, it's, funner to do the positional plays and that stuff. But he has been steady. And, like, Pro Football Focus, which I know Big Bill's a big fan of.
Loves it.
But, they started, I think this is the first year they're doing this, starting ranking people at every position.
Right.
And he's, like, top 10 offensive tackle they got him at right now. So it's like, okay, let's sign that guy up.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm obviously that seems to line up, I guess, with what we're thinking internally. Apparently, nobody's happier about the return of Scarnecchia than Cannon.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I thought it might be you and I, but it turns out Cannon's.
Cannon's has 14.5 guaranteed
reasons
to settle that, because he got Mike Reese reports it as a 5-year extension worth $32.5 million with $14.5 million guaranteed. So good on Cannon. You can remember this is a guy when we drafted him, 5 or 6 years ago, he was suffering in college from that non-Hodgkin's lymphoma,
right?
And so that kind of hurt his draft stock. He was arguably a first or second round talent that fell to the Pats in the 5th round.
That was definitely the story on him.
And really, it speaks volumes about the guy he was able to come through that,
sure.
And kind of take in, NFL meetings and some practices during that first year, which was essentially a redshirt for him. But yes, he definitely benefits from the whole Scarnecchia.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he was a kind of a pet project of Scarnecchia back in the day when they got him.
Right.
And, then once Dante left, it's I don't know, he wasn't Dave DiGuillermo wasn't a big fan of his. The Googs.
Yeah, I mean.
Because, it seemed like there was at times last year, and certainly the beginning part of this offseason, where
he was a liability.
He could have been getting his walker papers.
100%.
So
it's come full circle with him and Scars. It does make you wonder a little bit, or maybe even worry, though. How long are we going to have Scars? Maybe they're grooming somebody under Scars. That's what I want to hope.
Yes.
That somebody's getting groomed.
They better get
That's
groomed.
always been Bill's strategy. groom these guys. So I have a hunch that they're grooming somebody in house, and a hopeful
They
hunch.
better.
But I don't know how
If
long.
you're looking for a candidate, Big Bill. I
know
wasn't a
how
very good high
long,
school player, but
I got a lot of heart, man. I don't know how long Scars is going to be in town, but evidently Cannon's looking at 5 years, so
yeah.
we'll see.
I mean, Scars, he's a young. He looks young for his age.
he looks young. He looks young.
He's in his 70s. He doesn't
He's a
look like
healthy
a day over
70s.
62.
No
I'll tell
question.
you what. He's very spry.
But the only concern, I mean, Cannon has looked more consistent for sure. We had mostly the average fan is going to notice that they haven't just been hearing his name or watching the back of his jersey from the front of a play as he's
Right.
chasing the guy that just beat him. But essentially, the guy is now getting paid as if he's a top 5 right tackle. So that, again, we have
It's time to earn it, buddy.
yeah, no
Time
question.
there.
We have plenty of reason to have faith in the decision making, but
Yeah.
it's not like it's just a kind of a small deal. It's big. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it pretty much has the writing on the wall for old Seabass because he's out for the year and he's a free agent in the year. So that pretty much
Seems like Seabass might be talking to Drew Bledsoe while he's in town.
exactly about how retirement's going. Maybe about getting a job at the winery. But
That guy could definitely squash some grapes. No question. Probably
no
got
question.
size 16s.
so I mean, if you do need a final little parting of ways with old Seabass, I recommend on Patriots.com listen to him teaching Rob Gronkowski a little bit of German.
That was
Have you
pretty
checked
good.
that out?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yes.
It's pretty good. I love
Gronk
to see
is
that.
just such an easy laugh, isn't he?
Oh, he's so good.
It's a big animal.
Yeah, and also Dante said this week, and kind of speaking a little bit to the reemergence of Marcus Cannon, was he has such long arms that his technique wasn't using that to its full advantage.
Gotcha.
So they made some technique tweaks of using that, and he said it's been working wonders. She'll stick with it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
So I know we
money talks.
mentioned old Gronk and the GOAT were not at practice today. Also not participating in practice today, Marty B. So you might get your boy. Langle might get some run this week.
yeah. Let's
Who
hope
knows?
it's limited. Hopefully they're not depending on old Lengle, especially with TB12 not getting any reps. There's already some rumblings that, I don't know if you've heard them. There were a few skeptics last week thinking that old TB12, hey, maybe it's time to give this guy a week off. If it's the kind of thing where he's missing practice, which he's a big proponent of not missing
doing.
practice.
Yeah.
Obviously that's for a reason. So if it's a situation where rest is necessary, you wonder, is it going to become a conversation between Bill and Tom? Because my hunch is that you're going to be hard pressed to keep Tom off the field. The guy's never missed a game other than when he had that injury that we won't speak of.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't see him taking rest.
I don't know,
game
man.
day.
I mean, he's such the consummate team player that I think if he's able to kind of objectively view himself, that hey, maybe I'm not the best guy for the job this week.
I got 4 Super Bowl rings, a supermodel for a wife, but let me try to
Let
be
me let Jimmy
objective
G
here.
take this
That's
week.
Stiff from this kid. Let me give this kid a run here. I don't think it works like
No?
that. But I don't know.
No?
I mean, he says the right things, but I think he's not short on the confidence that the team's in better hands with him.
So
It's my hunch.
yeah, no, that's good. I do want to speak a little bit about the Rams. We came into the Ram Jam, but I do want to put last week's game to bed before we do that.
Yes.
And so it's a big win, like we said, division win on the road versus the hated Jets. And like we said, it was kind of back and forth. And you mentioned earlier the emergence of Malcolm Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
2 TDs in the game, could have had a third, and it's
He had
funny.
2 other opportunities in the end zone that. Right there, so it could have had 4 theoretically.
Right.
One was the one that went through his hands, but
that
it was
one
just
was
exciting to
like-
see Tom going to him in those key situations.
Yeah.
and him coming through as well.
And Tom has nothing but good things to say about the kid whenever he's asked about him in press conferences and stuff like that. And even just hearing the kid in press conference, you can tell, although he might not be the best interview, he's going to say the right things,
No
and it
question.
seems like he's just all about football, and they say that he loves the game, and he's just all about, sponging in that knowledge.
No
But
question.
Nate Ebner not at practice today.
Yeah, concussion, I guess, yeah.
Also, no Jules with the foot and Jordan Richards with the knee. So a little bit banged up. Chris Hogan, limited participant with the back.
Hogs.
And old Matthew Slater with a foot injury was limited participation as well. So Malcolm Mitchell, the one I wanted to go back to was the one that was kind of like just off his fingertips in the end zone in the fourth quarter, like halfway through the fourth quarter. And it was like, when that happened, it was like, so they had to settle for 3. So they made it 17-16.
Right. That was
Jets,
tough.
and it was just like, oof.
It was nerve-wracking, yeah.
Very nerve-wracking. And then came like a nice stretch where, and both Belichick and Brady pointed this out in their post-game presses of the last 7 minutes being good situational football.
Definitely.
And that's something that Bill always preaches and professes and drills, during the week. So it was good to see that kind of come out. Anything jump out at you situational football-y in that little stretch?
Just they made the big plays when they needed to, and that of course the fourth down conversion, that could have been the end of the game there. And that fourth down conversion to James White was huge.
That was huge. And this guy, continues to make you big plays like that.
He does,
And it's like, I'm glad that he's still an asset and still is like in the mix, even though we have Dion Lewis back, who's just another weapon, another asset, making sick plays out there. So that was great. That was like, because he caught up before the sticks and then had to like turn right up and get that. So that was huge.
It was big. Yeah, he's come through, and then Bill spoke to that as well about they've always, he kind of was harkening back to some of the guys that have been in that position, kind of like Jeff Fisher did, which we'll get to. But they've had a great amount of production from that spot, the sub back over the years, that third down back, and he's carrying the torch, definitely.
Sure is.
Got a pretty good stable. Got a pretty good stable right now. You got to feel good about it. DJ Foster back on the practice squad, by the way, also.
DJ Foster was good. I don't know how he got through waivers.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's, you tell me there's 31 teams that can't use DJ Foster? I find that hard to believe.
Had press to believe it.
So that was good. Yeah, he got bounced from a 53 because they signed a D-tackle early in the week. And then he was able to go through waivers, so now he's back on the practice squad. And who gets jettisoned? Oh, little Gronk.
That guy's, he's
Once
the,
again. He's the Kevin Youkilis of this year's team. Back forth.
Ventrone, that's who I was trying to think of. Ventrone used to be that guy. Now he's one of the. Now he's on the coaching staff.
Oh, Ventrone. Before we move on, we do have to point out Brady's block.
Oh man, that was amazing.
I mean,
do you feel like the Jets did the Pats a solid by not destroying him? By the way,
I certainly do.
I mean,
we should be sending them thank you cards.
It was unbelievable
because that's like,
of all the guys that could have teed off on him, not a one even laid a finger on him.
Shocking.
Yeah, it is.
It was shocking. I was like,
that was unbelievable.
That's all you want as a defensive players to get a lick on the quarterback.
They had to be thinking of their wallets because they're like, I'm gonna get a hefty fine if I light this dude up right now.
Wow.
But he is just walking down there like a giraffe out in the wild.
A giraffe with the bum quad on knee, and it's so crazy. And I couldn't believe no one lit him up. I'm like, get out of there!
Oh man,
get out of there! It's like get out, Rocky
get
3.
out, get.
And oh man, and he, so he cracks on himself by putting up on Instagram or something the next day. That was great.
You got to be the first one because otherwise you're gonna get lit up.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone else is gonna do it, and it's a lot less fun.
Who's gonna light up the goat though? Honestly,
just 31 other fan bases.
Maybe his wife. All right.
Last point on the Pats game, by the way. Revis getting burnt a couple times in that game.
A little bit.
And I don't know if you heard tonight the reports. There was a lot of rumblings around New England. Obviously we see who's going to have the last laugh on him leaving town and signing that big deal down there.
Yeah.
There's talk tonight, reports coming out that he may be done, that he doesn't want to play football anymore. I mean, it looked like he might not really want to play football on Sunday.
Yeah,
but what does that say?
After week 11.
Yeah, as Bill Belichick once famously said, "Way to compete, way to compete." I mean, it's like you're gonna get scorched a couple times, and now you just want to call it a day. I don't know. I don't really like what I see there. He's only 31. It's not like he's.
Yeah, exactly. Once you're thinking about retirement,
right?
You're already retired.
Unless you're David Ortiz.
I forget who said that. Unless you're Bobby. But I do. What's his name? Quotes it all the time. Marcellus Wiley. I always hear him quoting it.
That's true.
So
Max and Marcellus.
let's move along to the LA Rams. They're a football team again.
Yes.
And they're coming to Foxborough
They are.
on Sunday,
Good luck to them.
1 p.m. Eastern Time, kickoff. And let me ask you about their fearless coach. You know, he's been in the news a lot this week because he's, fighting with the best LA Ram of all time, having a little spat. But Jeff Fisher,
The losingest coach of all time, I believe?
the underrated, overrated coach, or the most overrated coach?
I just don't know. That guy has to have some kind of blackmail material on somebody.
Something.
It's bizarre. I mean, I got a stat somewhere. I'll try to pull it up, but
He's got like 16 500 or losing seasons out
Right.
of like 22.
yeah, I mean, the amount of
Coaching
losses he has. I can't remember if he's tied all time. Maybe he just passed the record, but he also, the amount of losses he's compiled has been in about half as much the time as the other guys who have the same stats as him.
It's crazy. This guy has got to, have a write a book, or at least have a seminar
Right.
on how to go about coaching in this league. I mean, do it right. Like, okay, incrementally improve, and then get your team into the Super Bowl. Don't so that
Right.
like takes up the first like 7 or 8 years of your coaching career, making that steady climb,
Right.
and then just coast on that for the next 15 years.
The only
That's
guy
essentially
who
what he's
is even
done.
remotely close to that right now is Marvin Lewis. Not with the Super Bowl parallel, but as far as
Coasting?
just riding that mediocrity. I mean, he's had some good teams that
Yeah.
have gotten to the playoffs and done nothing.
Never won.
But here it is. Jeff Fisher this was 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Okay.
So he must have just passed Tom Landry. So Jeff Fisher, as of before last week's game against the Saints, Jeff Fisher has tied Tom Landry for second most losses in NFL history. Jeff Fisher has coached 336 games. Tom Landry coached 418. So doesn't speak too well.
No.
But yeah, I mean, as I think we talked about it earlier this season, but watching the Rams on HBO there, or whatever channel that's
Hard
on.
Knocks,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's still on HBO.
Yep.
Just him talking about mediocrity of the team.
Yeah.
It was kind of
It's kind of an odd choice.
It's an odd strategy. It just
Like,
feels
don't
night
even
and day.
put that idea out there.
It feels
don't
night
even-
and day from what we're exposed to.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he didn't want to be a 7-9, 8-18. Guess what, Jeff? You're a 7.
You're not gonna be.
8-18. You're 6-10.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not 3-1. He's like, extend me.
Yeah.
Extend me. So do you think potentially that
End of the road.
yeah.
I think
it's the
so.
end of
I
the road
mean,
for old Jeff boy.
they
but-
got the new QB. It's time for change. They're in a new city,
Wow.
new stadium next year, or not for 2 years, not for another year.
I don't
I
think
think it's
next
another
year. I
year
think
away. Yeah,
fall.
it's got to be.
So yeah, you're bringing a new coach, break him in the Coliseum
Yeah,
next year. Hey,
I-
thanks Jeff for handling the transition. Peace out.
I think the time is now. Time to act is now. I mean,
Do you think it makes him garbage because he doesn't want Eric Dickerson, the best Ram of all time, on the sidelines anymore?
I do think
because
that makes him
on his
garbage.
radio show, yeah, it does make him garbage. I guess what I wanted to say is what makes him more garbage. Can he have much more garbage? The fact that the whole feud with Dickerson, or is it the fact that when asked about the
man.
Patriots running backs with the radio on a radio interview, he's like, LeGarrette Blount, yeah, I mean, I kind of gave him a start because he like signed him as a free agent, then promptly cut him.
yikes.
And then he says, what did he say, like Brandon?
He brought up Brandon,
So that's like Brandon Bolden? He said
Right.
like one carry all year.
right, and then he brings up Danny.
Who's got to be Danny Woodhead? Or Dion Lewis? Is he calling Danny?
Everyone's suspecting he's talking about old Woodhead.
Who hasn't been on the team for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, at least
he's like,
3
is he
years, right?
just like putting in his 012 film from the
I
last
mean-
time they played the Pats, and is like,
What a great contrast, though. You have Belichick basically just telling us the life story of the punter on the Rams. And then you have Fisher, who is just misnaming folks and Just seems like he's mailing it in.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's riding it into the sunset right now. I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna make it through the end of the season. If I were old Crinky, I would drop the hammer. But you got family ties on the team. It's be a tough.
What are the family ties?
His son's on the squad on the staff as well.
Jeff Fisher?
Yeah, I forget what his position is. But
You're gone too. Hit
yeah,
the bricks,
no
Junior.
question.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't stick around. That would just be awkward.
Are you kidding me? He'd stick around.
You think?
Yeah.
you're gone.
If his dream is to be a coach in the NFL, his dad getting axed, that ain't gonna change it.
You're gone.
Even Jay Fish should be like, hey, hang out. Well, let me get another job first, and then I'll poach you.
Brandon Fisher.
And then his son would be like, nah, I don't want to be 7-9 either. So don't poach me.
Dad, we're not that good. Maybe his son could give him some healthy perspective, you know? Like, hey, Dad, I mean, you haven't done shit.
Hey, Dad, here's the Pats roster.
These are the guys on the team. So, yeah, he coaches D-backs, Brandon Fisher.
You know what else was just
You're
popping into my head? We didn't give him props because of the situational football down in the waning moments of the Jets game was Howie's kid, Chris.
Chris Long, yeah, with the big strip
sack. That was huge.
It was.
He was a guy who kind of like lit the world on fire in those first 3 or 4 games, and then kind of
He has tapered off a bit. I think it's fair to say.
So
but yeah,
hopefully
big
this
play.
is part of the resurgence.
Yeah, I think it was a big play. The defense, they made like we've talked about before, all the great Ds that we've had. More than anything, more than being necessarily a dominant team, what they were was like very timely, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to say lucky, but they would make the big play when it was needed, and they did that again last week a couple times. So, yeah,
that's
that was
a good
huge.
trade for a team to have.
And one note on the Jets, give praise where praise is due. Anunwa, that kid is for real.
Right. He
That
kind of
kid's
had a little emergence.
couple big grabs in that game. Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there.
Good player.
The guy I like is actually another wide receiver for them, Robbie Anderson. He's going to emerge out of Temple.
Kid that got stripped by Malcolm, I believe, right?
I think
Knocked
he might
the ball
be
out of his
right.
hand and recovered it.
Oh, good old Malcolm. Yeah. He's got potential.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Maybe for a different team somewhere.
Maybe the Pats. So, yeah, I think that's hilarious when you bring up the fact that, Belichick knows all about their punter. Old Johnny Hecker, the second coming of Ray Guy, if you listen to Belichick's press conference today, he's like, he referred to this guy. And please tell me if you've ever heard of this in describing a punter before. Call Johnny Hecker a tremendous weapon.
Right. He's not even a player. He's a weapon. It's unbelievable.
Man.
It almost made me think this guy, he's getting some kind of psychological. This is honestly what my thought process was.
Oh, boy.
That Bill must know some dirt on this guy, and he's getting in his head right now. I mean, you can watch. This guy has made a bunch of big plays. He's tossed the ball around. He's leading in basically every statistical category for punters.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of work in because he's on the Rams. But he does a good job. But that said, the level to which Bill went bananas over this guy made me think that maybe there was a deeper level to this. Like, I'm going to get in this guy's head.
Yeah.
I'm going to build him up so high that it just devastates him. You know what I mean? This guy's not even going to be able to sleep at night because the world is going to be watching him now, thinking he's the best punter, you know.
It's going to get a little yips. Fourth quarter punts.
You never know, man.
Shankadoo.
You never know.
1st and 10 from the 36. What's up?
How about this cool stat just to solidify how great Jeff Fisher is? In their last 2 head-to-head meetings, Bill Belichick's Patriots have outscored Jeff Fisher-led teams by a combined score of 104-7. That's pretty bad.
Old Jeff.
That's pretty rough.
The Teflon stash.
Do you feel like this could be a trap game, though? Potentially.
It does have the markings of a trap game. You know, it's
in that the Rams are garbage and the Patriots aren't.
They're garbage. You know, we're celebrating the whole halftime celebration we got going on this weekend. Who's coming up on the schedule next week?
Oh, let me look.
Is it
Let me
going to
take a
be
peek.
a division game?
I felt like it was the Fins, maybe, but We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, because we got one more with the Finns. I think it's the last game.
Oh
of the
yeah,
season,
I think you're
but,
right actually.
Trying to think of who it is, but it's a conference game. I'm just not sure if it's division. It's leaving me at this point. I probably just don't know because I'm just taking one game at a time.
That's the thing. You stay in the week.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's what my coach tells
You're
me
on
to
to the
do.
Rams.
I'm all about the Rams right now.
Oh, okay.
And the Ram Jam.
You're right about the Finns' finish of the season.
Yeah.
Rams and the Ravens
Yes.
at home.
And the Ravens, even though they got that loss at Dallas a few weeks ago, they showed me a little something in that Dallas game.
Yeah.
I actually think that they are going to come out of that division and not Pittsburgh.
The cream will rise in the AFC, and it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be the same teams that we would have thought it was.
Yeah.
Coming into the season, I think the Broncos are still there. Who knows how that's going to play out because that division's tough right now, and KC looks good, but
Yeah. And KC, especially with getting that win in Denver last week,
it was big. Yeah,
was huge because now they have another one with Denver that they get to host, and I think they still get to host one with the Raiders,
right.
too. So they're kind of in the driver's seat.
I feel
that
like the
division.
Raiders are going to fall off. I do.
They have kind of a tough schedule stretch coming up.
Yeah.
So
my gut tells me they're going to fall off, but we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, I
be wrong.
keep pumping everybody up. I mean, they are pumping that kid up.
Right.
And, I hope people keep saying, oh, yeah, he's the MVP and all that stuff to keep the Patriots as far under the radar as humanly possible. I actually, if I was being, unbiased, would probably give him the nod right now for MVP in the NFL over Brady.
Really?
Because of the 4-game miss,
Yeah.
But
I mean, he's definitely done a darn good job in there. The kid's been electric at times, but he's laid a few eggs as well. So
I think it's either the two Cowboys, him, or Brady. That's
Yeah.
pretty much the field right now, I think.
no question.
But
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys, you can't say enough about those dudes. I mean,
I'll tell you one thing. The GOAT, he doesn't fumble if he gets his pinky dislocated. I'll tell you that.
he definitely doesn't. And
Okay.
he doesn't.
Ow!
I mean, that was a little ridiculous, right?
Terrible. First of all, it doesn't
great
happen
fun on the
because
internet this
he
week.
makes
How about
sure
that,
his
too?
hand is flexed. He's got an imprint in old David Andrews,
Rectum.
taint, where like his fingers
I said
stay
rectum,
up,
you say taint. You're right.
and that won't happen, and Hank
Right.
Down, it's like, certainly wouldn't have fumbled. He would have completed the pass, lefty if need be, and then he would have just snapped it in himself, whacked it on the back of like soldier's helmet. All right, I'm good to go.
He's good.
I'll have Jules snap it back in.
Those type of situations
just-
are why the internet exists, though, just to have fun at his expense.
He's
after
tough.
that incident,
He's tough. He's a Gen Xer.
Opposing rookie quarterbacks, talking about Goff now. Opposing rookie quarterbacks are 0-7 with a 52% completion rate and a 4-14 touchdown to interception ratio
Yeah.
and a 51.7 passer rating since 2000 against the Patriots. So the odds are stacked pretty heavily against Goff. That said, I do feel like the one trap factor that I wanted to bring up,
Yeah.
I do feel like it is sort of a strength-on-strength matchup here with the Pats versus the Rams. The Rams definitely have a better defense than they do in offense, and vice versa with the Pats. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it could be a more interesting matchup. If the Pats play their A game,
Yeah.
it could be a blowout. But, if they don't, and I think the Gronk injury definitely is something to keep an eye on, because if he's not out there, as we know, that it sometimes really puts a damper on the offense getting going.
Yeah.
More so than I would think it should, to be perfectly honest.
I think now that we have Lewis back, that lessens that loss of a weapon a little bit. But, it's all about keeping the kid gloves on, dealing with that
Right.
man-child, because you want him for the playoffs.
I'd like to think that as well. It just worries me, especially if Brady's missing significant time again this week and he's not getting the snaps. And, all with the list of other guys that are out right now, if they're not getting reps in practice and then Gronk doesn't play, it does worry me a bit
Yeah.
that they're, not going to be firing on all cylinders come game day. But, we'll see.
We're at the 2-minute warning, so start getting in all your awesome points here. Before,
Yes, I think I already made a bunch, but
You did. I don't know if there was any you wanted to hit
hammer
before the
down
end of the
on.
wire. One thing that kind of came out this week was the Pats potentially playing in that Mexico City game next year.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting.
That would also, should we pencil ourselves in for attendance?
I think we should maybe do the podcast from down there.
That'd be sick.
You know, on location.
Buenos dias,
You know,
amigos.
but
That would be pretty sick. Yeah, I didn't catch the game, the Raiders game. It is interesting, though, that the Raiders are chosen both times. At least it's rumored, I guess, at this point. But
it is.
Pats, Raiders, Mexico City, come out.
Yeah, I guess the two biggest teams down there are the Raiders and the Cowboys. So it makes sense that one of those would be down there. But yeah, I'm all for it. Grow the game. It's better than them having to go to London.
It's true. I mean, definitely Mexico City over London, no question. The time zone, good time, huge city. Get some football fans down there. Huge. How about Tebow?
Old Tebow.
Interesting. Putting a book out.
Putting a book out, and he says that he felt he was gonna be the heir apparent.
Play under Tom Brady, and then when he retires, we'll go play for Belichick and win a bunch of Super Bowls.
Wow, that was the quote.
That's what he was thinking.
Wow.
On his those were his goals.
Wow.
So hey, I mean,
once Josh McDaniels gets a job again, maybe he'll bring Tebow over from the baseball
power
diamonds.
of positive thinking, man.
Yeah.
It's carried these guys far. I mean,
I don't know why that guy isn't a coach somewhere. You know, I mean, the guy's such a
he's trying to play some
motivator.
baseball, brother.
Yeah, it's true.
He's trying to sock some dingers.
Sock some dingers. Okay.
Favorite player from the 01 squad.
Oh, wow. Favorite player from the 01 squad. We might have to chew on that for a week.
Next week, let's talk about it.
Probably Troy Brown.
You got to go Troy Brown. That's the
I
obvious.
mean, he's so good.
Let's get into that next week,
So
though.
good. Yeah, think about the best thing you like. And you guys hit us up on the old YouTube comment section and let us know what your favorite memory was from that 01 team or who your favorite player was. But we're here Wednesday nights at around 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Edelman Brady p.m. Eastern Time. So that's when you check us out if you want to listen into us live. But then it's up all week on the YouTube or at AfterBuzz TV. So please check us out on that. Yeah, that's about it. So for old Denny Harris, I'm Mike Conley. This has been another edition of Patriots Wrap 360. Thanks for tuning in with us.
See you later.
Go Pats. Happy birthday, Bo Jackson.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
We'll buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.